I don't want to be, I hate telling guys because I understand because there's nothing going to scratch that itch like playing competitive sports, be it basketball, football, baseball. I don't want to tell the guy to walk away, but I will say this. I just believe the days of him being the Tom Brady of consistently doing what we've become accustomed to him doing, Skip, I believe that's over. Because here's a guy now, Skip, at 45, he'll be 46 if he were to play next year. Skip, you don't get tougher as you get older. You're gonna want to less take hits. Mm-hmm. And what's happening is that he didn't get enough on the ball because the rush was coming and he flinched. He didn't get the ball to Arden because the rush was coming and he didn't want to drive the ball because you don't want to take those shots to the chops.
Yep, that's a fact.
Listen, I like to think I was a tough SOB, Skip, but as I started to get older, man, I started running out of bounds a little bit more than I did when I was younger. Those licks hurt. And I like to think I'm made of a little bit more substance than Tom Brady because I lift iron. Tom does a lot of band work. So Tom ain't really trying to take those hits. And I wasn't going to have 300-pounders weren't going to be landing on me. Those were going to be linebackers and DBs. But the licks hurt. So I just, why did we lead last night, Skip? What had Tom shown you all year long? Skip, of 12 quarterbacks that played this weekend, he had the second lowest QBR, only behind Skyler of Miami. Tom was 24.1, Skyler was 22.6. I have seen enough this year. I'm saying, guys, Tom is not the same. I'm not trying to diminish what the man has done. He went to 10 Super Bowls. He won 7, 5 MVPs, 3 regular season MVPs, 100,000 passing yards. But, guys, if you can look at Tom Brady and says he's playing with the same consistency that he always has, you're fooling yourself. And everybody says, I don't see anything wrong with his arm. Most guys that can run fast will still be able to run fast in year 10. Darryl Green could still run fast in year 20. But he wasn't the same, and he tell you, he wasn't the same. The lateral quickness wasn't the same. The transitioning wasn't the same. Tom is not the same, Skip. Unless you can go somewhere. Now, if you go put him behind the Eagles' offensive line, somebody that they got, that he's going to have 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004 to throw the ball, he can survive. But if that offensive line is not top tier, it's going to get harder and harder for him to play because he wants to get his hit less and less.
Yep. Okay. I hear everything you just said. I believe he will play again next year. I do not believe it'll be in Tampa. I think he sees the handwriting all over the locker room walls because he sits back right now and you can say he's deluding himself, but he's saying, my offensive line was a shambles compared to what it was last year and the year before because I lost 2 Pro Bowl guards.
Right.
And I lost my center all the way until last night.
Right.
And my left tackle was hurt and awful most of the year because he led the league in holding penalties. And my right tackle missed 4 games and never quite got right after a high ankle sprain. So he's telling himself right now, I just didn't have protection because they did finish 24th in pass block win rate.
Right.
Then he's saying, I had 0 running game the whole year. We were dead last except for that first game at Dallas. We had 151 because playoff Lenny had 127. But after that, we couldn't run a lick. So I couldn't play fake. There was no play action to it. And I wanted to go faster. And for whatever reason, the coaches didn't want to go faster with the hurry up 2 minutes.
Right.
And his wide receivers, he had no speed. He thought Julio was going to provide speed, and Julio got hurt in the opener at Dallas and stayed hurt. Last night, he looked about as healthy as he looked all year.
Last night.
Yeah, I liked him last night. But the point is, Brady's going to hang on to 432 against Carolina in the money game for the division.
Right.
3 touchdowns to Mike Evans and a quarterback sneak for a 4th touchdown. He'll hang on to that. And he'll hang on to the one throw he threw Julio, if we could show it again real quick, the 30-yarder to Julio. This is what he'll go through the early offseason thinking, well, I did do this. But
you see what type of... Yeah, if you give him that kind of time...
Yeah, I got it. He had time, and he was able to hit that back foot and bounce on it one time, and then he unleashed. He can still throw it. And then the throw to Mike Evans at the 2-minute warning, if we could see this one again, but at the 2-minute warning, he throws a very sweet deep ball. I mean, I don't know that you can throw it much better than this.
Can't.
And I just thought Mike was going to catch it. But the point is, Brady in his mind's eye is going to see the Julio throw and that throw and remember 432, and he's going to say, okay, I got it in me. I got one more year in me. And now the question is it in Tampa? No, it can't be because there's not enough there. The cupboard is getting barer and barer.
But here's the thing, Skip. That goes to what you're saying, tells you what I've been saying, is that, yes, you can have a game like that, but they come with come with less frequency.
All right.
And now, Skip, look what he's done. I mean, the cupboard was bare when he left in New England. The cupboard is bare now. See, now you've re-signed all these guys. You're stuck with them. And now he's off on to greener pastures while you stuck with a Chris Godwin and all these guys.
But you did get a Super Bowl out of it.
Yes.
Right? It's kind of like the Rams, F them picks.
Right.
Well, they got a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Look at them now.
Yes.
Okay. There's a team out there that has moved several times and is now residing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's just made for him if he wants to do this, if he wants to start over a third time.
Right.
But obviously, it's the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, it's that wide receiver who still could be the best in the game.
Oh, Devontae, absolutely.
And it's that tight end as a pass catcher. He's right up there with anybody. And it's little Hunter Renfrow who can do some of that.
They got some nice pieces.
Right?
Yeah.
And the running back led the league in combined rush.
He led in rush yards, yeah.
Okay, all right. So you've got that. I don't think the offensive line is great.
It's not.
He's going to question that. I don't think the defense is great.
It's not.
He's going to question that. But there is a guy who is still the head coach, a guy you're not real fond of as a head coach,
right.
Josh McDaniels. Can he call it? Well, he called it for years for Brady.
He did.
And that may be his forte. He's probably a much better play caller than he is a CEO head coach.
I agree.
Okay. Mark Davis is known for making splashes. He tried to make one with Gruden with a 10-year contract, and that blew up in his face. You don't think he'd like to have Brady for 1 or 2 more years? Sure he would.
Sell a lot more tickets.
It sells. It just sells. Okay, here's the question for Brady. It takes a lot of energy to start over because you got to go in and meet everybody's new.
Right.
You got to make new friends. You got to get to know 50, however many guys are on the squad.
Half the battle is over. You know the offense.
You know the offense.
You know the verbiage like in the back of your hand because you heard it for 20 years.
Okay. But I don't know. At some point, you wore out with all the trappings of it. Not the game day.
Yeah.
The game day's fine.
That's easy.
But all the preparation, all the meetings.
But he seems to love that more than the game day.
He might. But there's just, I just know on my little level, when I left Bristol, Connecticut and came here, we were kind of starting over.
Yeah.
And you came along and we said, let's do this thing. Man, it took a lot out of me.
It did.
It takes a lot.
It took a while for me to embrace, like, I'm in L.A.
Yeah.
L.A. is my home now. Atlanta, I no longer view Atlanta as my home, even though I still have a home there.
Yeah.
I view L.A. as my home now.
I got it. It just took a lot out of both of us to do it, to make it work, and we put it on the map.
But you know what,
Skip? It took a while.
What I found out, that once you move, it's easier to move again. Okay. Tom Brady's moved. He left New England. That was the hardest part, Skip, to leave New England after 20 years.
Yeah.
It won't be nearly as hard to leave Tampa.
I don't know. I just don't know. At some point, you just run out of mental gas for all the stuff that goes with it. All the press conferences.
This year was different.
Yep.
He went a lot. He had a lot went on off the field, which maybe had some carryover to on the field.
I'm sure it did.
Now 6 months, 8 months, a year removed from that. Is his mind freer? Is he in a much better place? Is he in a much healthier place that he says, you know what, I got that behind me, the situation, that's resolved, the kids are in a good spot, okay, let me, but at what, Skip? I mean, you want to play 1 more year, you want to play 2 more years, I mean, what is it? You want to go to 48, I mean, you want to go to 50? I mean, what's the end, Skip? Can Tom do anything to make you look at him in a different light? So if he won another Super Bowl, it's not going to change. You already said he's the GOAT. He was the GOAT at 5 Super Bowls. He was the GOAT at 6. He's the GOAT. Okay. So 8 doesn't change anything for me.
It's about personal happiness because I think he looks down the trail and says, well, I like golf, but I don't love golf like your big brother
you got
does.
$400 million waiting on you here.
Okay, here. I got it.
Yeah, here.
Will it scratch the itch? And by the way, we would love to have him here next year. But will it scratch
No, nothing,
okay.
nothing, no, nothing.
Nothing does.
And I say that in jest. No, money can't scratch.
No, I'm just talking about football.
No,
is nothing. You can attest to this better than anybody. You can talk and talk and talk about it.
It ain't playing.
But it's not playing.
And you can talk about what you see. Skip, but you can't control anything because I might have, man, I'd have did this, I'd have done that. And he's going to say, well, you know, this is what you should. You know, you see Kurt Warner drawing a play, you see Jordan Lowski. But, yeah, you draw a play, but that's not out there in it. You can't do anything about it. And that's probably going to be the hardest thing because when he goes and talks to those quarterbacks and we're watching film, he's out there this, and all he had to do was that, and that would have been a touchdown, but you should have did this.
Yep.
But nothing's going to scratch it. Nothing.
Right. And now it comes to a matter of health. It seemed like he got through the year fairly unscathed, but I don't know for a fact.
Right.
But it just looked like, given the injury reports and the way he sort of handled himself, he looked like he was fairly healthy. Last night, he took some shots.
Right.
And I guarantee you, even though he's protected, I guarantee you when he gets out of bed this morning, if he's probably still asleep.
But he looks frail, Skip. He looks thin.
Okay.
He like he lost some weight. I mean, obviously.
I think he lost some weight going through a divorce during the season.
You about to took the words right out of my mouth. Consider what he was going through. He probably wasn't eating a whole lot. He not like he eat a whole lot anyway.
No.
So he was eating a little less than that. But Skip, the thing is that Tom is going to fool himself because he's going to look at the final score and he's going to look at the outcome of the game. He's like, but Tom, go back and look at the totality of your season. You didn't play good this year. Last night, it came to fruition just how bad your season had gone. And people were like, but man, Tom, this was him. He scored. Did you realize how many times he scored?
Yep,
14?
I got it.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.